there's shitloads of retail investors throwing spare cash into crowdfunding projects. They see the overfunding, they see a glossy video, they go, ooh, I want one of those. And they put in £1,000, £5,000, £10,000. That's a horrible, horrible way to invest. Videos are designed to create hype. The overfunding thing is designed to create FOMO. It kind of prevents your typical retail investor asking smart investor questions. I want to go through a Crowdcube pitch that I've not seen yet and tell you the kinds of questions I would be asking before I would consider making any investment whatsoever. Caveat, Crowdcube don't know I'm doing this. The company doesn't know I'm doing this, but because it's public, so be it. Okay, right. It's called Violet, this one. I never, ever watched the video. So it's a pre-money valuation. We're talking $3.5 million. Pretty low, especially for a crowdfund. They're trying to get £150,000. They're overfunding. So I'm going to see whether or not there's a financial plan and see how far 150K gets in their financial plan. That will tell me how honest they're being. Team, who are they celebrating? They're celebrating 3 men. I'm a man. I'm not criticizing that specifically. I'm not a fan of all white male teams to invest in because they're going to have recruitment problems. Lots of questions. I'll probably read those if I was interested. Rewards. I don't care about rewards. It's £20,000 in order to have your name on their cap table. That's a high bar. £20,000 when you're raising 150K means kind of you're aiming to have no more than 7, maybe 8 individuals on your cap table at most. If I was going to write anything more than 5K, I'd want my name on a cap table. So I'd want to know how flexible they are. And that £80,000 is the largest investment, but only £200 today and only 7,130 in the last 7 days. So it doesn't have a lot of momentum. That tells me that they preloaded all of this momentum before it went live. I want to know where that £80,000 came from. I will ask that if I'm interested in investing. Who wrote £80,000? Why did they do it? Cool, let's have a look at the investor deck. This is what I based my decision on. Oh man. It looks like a fucking product brochure. Really annoys me. I just want simple, clean information. But here we go anyway. Building the future of smart home IoT tech. You're in one fucking crowded space. What are you doing that others are not doing? Like the obviouses, the Alexas, the Google Homes. But there's like loads of others, the Wises, the TP Links, whoever else. What can you bring to the table that they haven't or can't? If I'm interpreting this right, they're basically saying that they're compatible with all other devices. Arguably so is Google, but it's not compatible with Amazon products. Okay, they're targeting professionals. Is that 1,500 units of this device or 1,500 devices? As in like bulbs, smart plugs, whatever. 600 customers, so we're talking, all right, so I'm gonna do a very quick calculation. We're talking, £280 per customer. That's pretty good, I'd want to know the gross profit on that because when you're dealing with hardware, the revenue isn't the important bit. It's the gross profit, which is the important bit. You've got a £1.4 million B2B pipeline. So you're going to go from £170,000 to £1.4 million. Trustpilot 4.6. I mean, it's pretty low actually for a brand new product. You'd expect everyone to interact to be hardcore firms. Now, just for context, 4.3 is the average Trustpilot and Amazon review score. So anything above 4.3 is considered better than average. Anything below 4.3 is considered below average, even though it's got a 4 out of 5 in it. It's a bit fucked up, but that's true. What the fuck is a weighted B2B pipeline? That's true, smartphones are inconvenient when you're moving around your home. All right, I see a need for this product. I really do, actually. A universal controller for any manufacturer which sits inside of your house. Now that raises the question brand lock. It means that it doesn't take a lot for an Amazon or an Alexa to go, no, you're not allowed to integrate with me anymore. So I want to know what their defense is against that, what they're thinking of to protect themselves. Because if this is aiming for the home market, then that mid-tier, they're going to be buying Philips products, they're going to be buying Amazon products, they're going to be buying Google products. So I want to know how they're protecting against brand lock. That raises another question. Their revenue. Is that revenue from devices or professional installation services? So I want to know the breakdown of that revenue. Multi-channel selling, whatever, you're just going to sell some shit. Loved by our customers, 4.6, 30 social media followers has no bearing whatsoever. 1.4 million pound sales pipeline, but you showed me 800K. You're saying there's a $207 billion market opportunity. 37.5 billion is your addressable market. Why is it your addressable market? If you are the integrator, you will have access to the total addressable market. But they've also said 37.5 billion smart home and connectivity market. What market are they really targeting? Okay, it's confusing. I mean, it's not a huge issue, but I would want to know, why is that number not the same as the one that Crowdcube are presenting? Because Crowdcube would have vetted it. It's the kind of small detail that just like niggles the bullshit meter a little bit. That concerns me, doesn't put me off. Again, look at that composition. White man, white man, white man, white man, white man, white man, white man. I know, I'm a middle-aged white guy. It puts me off. I want to know about their team, how they're going to diversify the team. That would be a make or break question. Use of funds, I usually don't give a shit about stuff like this. They're going to purchase some inventory. I do not understand why startups do this. Why are they using investment money for inventory when they could just use lines of credit or invoice financing or whatever else? Like, don't use investors' money for something you can get infinitely cheaper elsewhere. Selling equity is expensive, and I don't want to dilute if I'm investing unnecessarily. Okay, they're current investors, this is very important. I don't know anything about Jensen Funding Partners, so I can't speak to that. But it's an EIS fund, so that means they've used some of their EIS allowance. So this means another question I would ask is, how much of their SEIS allowance is remaining? That SEIS allowance could have all been gobbled up. I don't know Capital Pilot Boost funds. I don't know Dean Hartley, but Dean Hartley was on their advisory board. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. There's nothing in here that makes me go, yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. It's a very, frankly, uninformative presentation. My investment decision would be based upon looking at the Q&A. That being said, there are questions I would want answered before I even remotely consider an investment. The first, please clarify your market. I really don't know where they got their data. It tells me a lot about the character of the founders, like how diligent they are. When they're presenting potential exit numbers, like it will give me a bullshit meter reading on those numbers too. I'd want to know about their team. I'd want to challenge them, like all of your advisors and all of your founding team and all of your people who work there, it seems, are middle-aged white guys. Of course, I'm not blaming anyone for being a middle-aged white guy, but I am saying you should be cognizant of your market and cognizant of the recruitment economy at large and the investor economy. So please tell me what you're going to do there. That's very important because it signals so much further down the line. I'd want some financial honesty around their revenue. Like, is that services and installs? Is it kind of purchasing of product? I'd want to know an answer to that gross profit breakdown. I'd want to see the financial model here. Sometimes I don't care about the financial model, but in this instance I do, because if their gross margin's really shit, then their expectations on an exit are pretty slim. Brand risk. I want to know what their plans are to protect against kind of brand risk or brand lockout, where the major brands out there, as soon as this gathers traction, you'll be under their thumb. They can turn around and say, nah, I don't want you integrating my products. I'd want to know how they're protecting against that. Or I could be ignorant and it may not need protecting against whatsoever. If I get good answers to those questions, the price is pretty fair. I mean, there's nothing spooky about it. It's EIS, which is, 50% of your investment if you're UK based, kind of protected by the government. That's a good thing. Oh yeah, and the last question, who is that 80K? If it's a founder or an advisor, I wouldn't invest. The reason being is because they're so deeply biased. If it's a new incoming investor that has reviewed a deck that maybe I haven't seen, and they've got a good portfolio, credibility, yeah, I'd dig into this a bit more. That is how I review this deck on Crowdcube. you.